I worked for an air conditioning contractor, and they have a sales division. So they get leads for AC company, for an AC unit. Guy would go out there. Guy was wearing khaki pants tucked in, polo shirt with a name badge like this, and closes at a certain percentage. His buddy wears dirty jeans with one of those blue button-up shirts with an oval here that says Carl. He comes in,
sells
looking
more.
like a technician, sells more.
Oh, wow.
Because why? Because the customer, he goes, yeah, your condenser's bad, you need a whole new unit. They go, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
You're a guy. You're a technician, you're not gonna lie to me. He's like, nope.
Wow.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Blue Collar Boardroom on site at the 2022 Win the Storm Conference. I've got a freaking special guest, Mr. David Williamson, CEO of Titan Solar. Dude, welcome.
Thanks, man. This is great.
Hey, man, your shoe game is on point, bro.
My shoe game is on point.
I'm going to
That's
have to
true.
take some tips from you, bro.
Anybody could do that.
Listen,
I have a lot of shoes.
I was peeping the Instagram, and I was looking at some custom painted shoes. Tell me about this custom painted shoe job.
So they got custom shoes that we go to either B Street or Shoe Surgeon. But B Street will take a pair of shoes that you buy, you send them to him, then he'll paint them however you want, as long as it matches the colorway on their in existence. But the Shoe Surgeon, you go to their website, and they build shoes from the ground up. They take a pair of Jordans like these, they unstitch the sole, and then they re-sew all the leather. So it doesn't have the Nike logo on it anymore. It doesn't say the Air Jordan logo. But I've got 3 or 4 pair of those, and those ones are pretty cool. If someone went to the Shoe Surgeon website, and I don't own stock in Shoe Surgeon, so don't go there because of me, but they got a set of Louis Vuitton Jordans. There's 4 of them. 2 each. There's the ones are 10,000, 10,000, and the other 2 are 7,500. I bought all 4 pair.
Oh!
I'm gonna make a custom coffee table in my office with it. So I got 35,000 shoes.
I saw the sneaker, the Jordan that was on the display. Dude, I love that, man. Titan Solar is the largest solar installer in the United States.
Correct.
And we partner with them. We've been through a couple different installation partners, and I'm really impressed with not just the sales process, the people, but the actual quality of installation and speed. Look, during this podcast, we're going to talk about roofers going solar, the solar industry, the future, how to sell solar, and really common mistakes that you've seen in contractors that are trying to adopt this, because a lot of roofing companies actually struggle getting into solar.
Roofing contractors can struggle getting into solar from the sales side of it because the roofer, who's really good, understands how to sell a roof to a homeowner, whether it's through a storm or through just a worn-out roof. They understand that industry really well. Getting into solar could be easy and should be easy if someone has a platform to teach a roofer how to get into solar, what to say to a customer, how to pitch them. It's a different pitch. You're pitching energy, pitching a lower electric bill. And there are quoting platforms that help the process, but you need to know a little bit of the talk track. So roofers don't easily transition into solar. And if you think about it, they should. They're already up on the roof. If you were a roofer and you're standing on someone's roof telling them about the quality of the roof, they're gonna buy a roof from you and they go, by the way, get solar now because I'm doing it with the roof. Customer's gonna go, okay, I trust you.
We were sitting here before and I was telling him, Dave, I should have come to you years and years before. I saw all the solar guys all the time. You know, biggest thing is average ticket, man. It's more expensive than roofing.
Average ticket in solar, depending on market, we just talked about this a little bit ago, it's over $50,000 in Florida. It's because of system size, and a lot of times we're wrapping in other things with solar. In Texas, the average system size is around a 10 kilowatt system, so it's around $45,000 a ticket. If you're adding a battery or a generator or other things, I mean, Power Home Solar has an average ticket of a $69,000.
And in Florida, average ticket's $57,000. 40% of the people that get solar actually roll in their roof to the payment. And the long-term loan, the short financing, this is just like really insane. It's for a transition for retail. A lot of these stormers, insurance guys, they struggle fighting the insurance company for money.
Right.
And you know, when you get paid from Good Leap when you're finished, I mean, it's just sometimes like it's just a night and day difference as far as waiting on your money.
That was what we heard last year when we started talking more to the roofing industry, that getting paid and getting financed was one of the biggest hurdles. And when Good Leap said, hey, we're going to have a loan that wraps in the roof with the solar, or they have a home improvement loan all by itself, they make it really easy to get financed.
They're doing something that's never been done before with that home improvement loan, because we're getting some that are $150,000 tile roofs with solar, and the $50,000 tile roofs, the monthly payment's insanely low because it's 3%, it's over 20 years,
right?
And you know, even the limit that we can go up to like $100,000 even without that loan.
Most homes that we're going to be talking to where they're getting a new roof and solar are going to fit within Lone Pal or Goodleap now, within their big cap, the top end number. So we're not going to need a lot of people that have $200,000 to get financed. Someone has a house that extravagant, that big, they probably have some cash like that.
I'll tell you what, I love stories of entrepreneurs. So I want to hear about how this behemoth company, and one of the things I heard about Titan was that all the locations are paid for, that everything is, everything that you see is owned by Titan, that as the installation company, it's grown over the years and scaled through, partnerships with sales organizations. But can you walk me through your journey as an entrepreneur, how you became the #1 solar installer?
Well, we became the #1 solar installer from basically getting pulled into that position, meaning sales partners bring us the deal. We do a good job of processing that deal, making sure the customer has a good experience. And sometimes we fail. I mean, there's always going to be something online where someone says, Titan did this wrong, Titan did that wrong. But for the most part, we do things right. And so as we grew in the industry and we got more and more salespeople wanting to come to use Titan, and we set them up for success, and we offered a lot of training on how to sell and what markets to sell in, they started expanding in the United States. We started in Arizona, and then even from Arizona, when we're in Phoenix, they say, okay, can you start doing it in Yuma? Yuma's 3 hours away. We're like, well, we can't keep driving back and forth to Yuma 3 hours, so we set up a shop there. Then they're like, okay, what about Tucson? Well, that's an hour and 45 minutes south of Phoenix. Like, well, we'll set up a shop there. Then someone says, well, you guys would do really good in New Mexico, and it's just right there. They act like it's next door. It's a whole state away. So we're like, okay, so we set up shop in New Mexico, and they did nothing for like 2 or 3 years. It was just like a bad market for us. Then someone says, can we go into Texas? So we go into El Paso, and we just slowly been creeping across the United States. The only time we ever made a big jump is we got licensed in Florida from only being in the Southwest, and that was kind of a shock for us. But it's been salespeople pulling us. Also, my business partner, Kyle Bedome, he doesn't travel that much. He's now our CFO, but he's the other half of Titan. I'm just the one half. He has been really responsible with our money. And so, today someone sees, yeah, you go to my office, I got a ton of shoes. Well, those shoes aren't that expensive. Like the big table I talked about, yeah, that's a bit of an indulgence. But for the most part, we aren't pulling money out of the company and go out and buying boats or cabins or Ford Raptors. Nothing wrong with Raptors if you guys are into that. But the point is, we've been really responsible.
Reinvested into the opportunity.
Exactly. So, so much so that even this last year, Kyle said, hey man, we can't keep leaving the retained earnings in the company. I'm like, why not? He goes, because it looks bad. It looks like we're trying to hide money from the government by not taking it. I'm like, oh, so what do we do? He's like, we take some money every once in a while. I'm like, okay. And it's not a lot we don't take a lot out. But we've used the money to go into a market saying, okay, we want to be strong in Orlando. Let's buy a building in Orlando. Let's not rent, let's not lease, let's not make payments to someone else. We buy the building. We usually have to buy the buildings for cash.
Yeah, most of the time that's because you're probably needing the depreciation and the write-off and taxes.
And it helps, yeah, because you can set up those buildings in their own company. So Kyle does a really good job of managing our money, but most of our buildings are indeed owned, and most of them are owned for cash, and we do own most of our fleet. The only reason we don't own all of our fleet is because we can't buy trucks fast enough.
Right.
But they can't make them.
I know, they're like leasing and everything. Well, now Titan's installing, how many states total?
We're licensed in 17 states.
Okay. And the biggest deal for everyone that's trying to sell solar is everywhere it makes sense to sell solar, you're killing it.
We're trying to kill, yeah. We're doing our best to make it as easy as possible for someone to get into solar in that market if they want to do business in that market. But we're not in like Washington or Oregon and
I've seen
Montana.
So many roofers overthink this, guys. It's as simple as this. You got to call your old clients. You got to have a simple opportunity just to get to the power bill. And these guys, they overcomplicate it. If they've done roofs and they already have clients, don't you think, what would you do if you were getting started selling solar?
And I already had a roofing book?
Yeah.
I mean, I probably wouldn't just try to jump into it. I probably would go to someone who's already in it and knows the difference between roofing and solar and get coaching from someone.
Absolutely.
And once I learned from them, I'd have something where, look, you've enriched my life with a bunch of knowledge. I would work out a deal where they got some kind of override or some kind of portion of my success for a period of time. Because that's only fair.
Absolutely.
I've done that with a lot of solar companies, smaller solar companies. I've helped out a lot of people with knowledge. And I haven't really asked for anything. But the notion should be, man, if I'm helping you out.
It's important. Like if you're helping structuring the deals for scalability, you're helping putting the different things in line. I mean, how much do they gain? I mean,
how much is their company and their lives enriched from your knowledge? And then what do you get? A handshake and a high five and maybe a beer?
Yeah.
probably need a little more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, this is what I love about working in conjunction with Titan is that, over the last 2 years, we've implemented a solar division. And now I expect, for a minimum $20 million in my own production in solar, but through my network, $50 million in sales. That's our goal. And we're capable to do this in 17 different states because we're partnered with Titan. The biggest thing that I see for contractors is, they overcomplicate the whole process. And, when I started in solar, I brought in experts, like you said.
Right.
And, I brought them into my company. We created online training. We went out and taught the roofing sales rep solar, and we struggled. The roofers had a hard time learning. And it was actually a solar team. We recruited a solar team on our team.
Okay.
Only about 4 or 5 guys. And once my roofers saw how much success they were having, calling the old leads, getting the deals, knocking on doors where the roofs were already completed, and they were seeing the checks. And then it took, a couple salesmen to do the first deals and just to see how quickly they could get the checks.
Right.
And, boom. It only takes that one story.
Once you get a rep, I don't care if they're in pest, alarm, roofing, and they see the commission checks that they can get from solar. Mm-hmm. That's the funny part too. These guys can get paid a ton of money in solar. And as a normal person who looks at a salesperson, the notion is to say, oh, they're scumbags because they're making so much money. No, they're not. They're making a ton of money. The company gets to make money because they're housing that rep and they're teaching them how to sell solar and they've got a place to manage their accounts. The customer's still saving money. It just so happens that the way we install, we can offer a low enough baseline price on our side where we can allow for a lot of commission on the front end side because this kind of stuff isn't free. You paid to be at this booth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't volunteer you to come here.
No.
You had to pay here.
Yeah.
Right? So you have a lot of marketing costs. Well, we don't judge how much your guys' sales stack is because that's your marketing cost. We're not putting out ads. I'm not handing out leads. You guys are doing that. So you guys need a big stack on the front end, and we make small margins as an installer. We're probably making, single-digit margins. I say probably. I know we're making single-digit margins. If I was making double-digit at it, I'd have even more shoes. But I know what we're making, and it's a modest net income or net profit. But y'all need to make the high end because you chop it up like 17 different times.
It's an important concept. In order to scale, you got to be willing to give it away. And I look at other companies trying to help roofers get into solar, and I see them trying to take too much. And then when I talked with one of your executives, he said, bro, that's not going to scale. That red line's not going to scale. You need to be more generous. You need to give more away. And I started looking at it. I'm like, well, wait a second. Well, my sales reps will make $5,000, and I'm only going to make $2,000 or
right.
$1,800. And he's like, listen, this is what you got to do. And I forgot exactly who it was from your team that told me that, but it's very, very important that these guys understand that, first step.
Can't take too much. Can't have too big of middle portions of a sales cost stack. Can't have giant portions. These companies that have giant portions, the reps have way too high of a red line. And then you look at it and say, wait a minute, I know what that is, and I know what the average red line is. Where's all that money going to? And they go, well, don't you like me? I'm like, man, I don't like you that much. I don't
exactly.
like you for 50 cents a watt. I don't
Listen,
like you.
You always got to be competitive, and the reality is we live in this world where people all know. So
right.
If you want to ignore the competition, ignore what they can get from somewhere else, then you might lose people. But, you see what happened in California, very competitive market. How many homes in solar you think, what percentage of homes
in California?
Yeah.
I mean, California has the biggest market penetration. They say they're up to 10%, probably be higher than that now. But there's still, tens and hundreds of thousands of roofs in California that need to have solar on them. In fact, it's even easier to sell in, solar in California now because they just pushed out NEM 3.0 that was going to hurt the industry. Well, they pushed it out almost indefinitely. There's no date on the books for it. So anybody that wants to sell solar, they shouldn't look at California and go, oh my gosh, it's too competitive, it's too saturated, or the laws are too against solar. That's not true. Every state's good for solar.
They're killing it out there. The guys that are out there selling. What I saw was this trend when I looked at the stats of how many installs are happening in Texas and Florida.
Right.
And what California used to be, this rapid growth.
Right.
Do you see these two states as the
next two? Yeah, they're as far as the growth year over year, Texas and Florida are going to be outpacing California. And a lot of that is people aren't going to California to sell. Mm-hmm. People that are already there are selling. but it is easier to sell here and in Florida, and the systems are twice as big. The average system size in California is like between 5 and 6 kilowatts. Here in Florida, they're 10, 11, 12 kilowatt systems because, I mean, they're running the AC all year round in Florida. I mean, you go there in December and it's too hot.
That's the thing. It's like, you know, they're heating their pools, they're heating their hot tubs, they're running their ACs all year round.
Right.
And yeah, the power bill where I'm from in Naples, you know, Florida FPL, you know, that you have to be very competitive to really deliver value to the customer. So what I did was I lowered my red line, and you know, I said, hey, look, guys, you know, I kind of took a power response. I said, instead of a higher red line, we'll give you 70%.
Right.
You know, and that way they can still be competitive.
This volume, the reason why Titan, goes back to the question you asked earlier, why did Titan scale? It's because we looked at it as a volume play as opposed to a big margin play. And if you look at it that way, say, I want to scale as big as possible, I want to make some money, I'm not trying to rip everyone's head off, make some money, establish a big, wide network, a big footprint, get the Titan. We have something called the Titan Way. It's the way we install. We try to do it the same way in every market, and it's a constant training. Always trying to get our guys, because all of our guys are W2. We have 1,800 employees, 190 install crews. We're only trying to get them to do it the exact same way. You go to every warehouse in the nation, and they should have the same cart system that we started in Arizona in every market.
Is that your strength, the SOPs?
I don't know if it's our strength. I think Titan has a lot of strengths. I think one of our biggest strengths is that we treat salespeople like they should be treated. We don't treat them like, I mean, no salesperson should be thought of as a scumbag salesperson. But somehow, scumbag is always in front of the word salesperson.
I love this, bro.
Right.
You're celebrating the people first.
I was a commission-only sales guy for 20 years.
Right.
I'm 48 years old. You're 36, I'm 48. Right. I've been around a long time.
You got a lot more hair than me, bro.
I'll tell you what.
People saying I'm 48.
People say I'm 36. I wish they did. So I was a commission-only sales guy for 20 years. I sold cars, I sold air conditioning, I sold water treatment for a really long time. Obviously, I sold solar and solar water heating. I don't like it when salespeople get treated like dog shit just because they make commission.
Right.
If you're jealous, if the operations person is jealous or upset about how much commission I make, tell you what, you go pick up a pen, you go out and you sell.
Right.
You can make that money too. I'm not keeping you from selling.
Absolutely.
But they look at salespeople like we're bad. So I think Titan has, one of our strengths is we think about salespeople and treat salespeople like, hey man, you guys are doing something that not everyone can do. We value your efforts, we value your work ethic. When Matt Cronwald or Chrissy Coonrod and I would go on the road last year, we were talking to sales teams. We started out by saying, thank you guys very much, because if you guys don't get out of bed and go knock on a door or go find a lead, we don't get paid. We don't have construction anymore. So we need you guys to go do exactly what you guys need to do, and that's why you guys get paid so well. So we come out there, and the first thing we do is we say, thank you very much. And then we go into who Titan is, the stats that help them sell in the home. It is important that a person who's selling solar and selling a solar via a Titan install uses Titan's name. It is important because you can say,
oh, it's huge,
yeah,
bro.
I'm gonna have, my install team is the #1 team in the nation. That's kind of cool.
There's been so many solar companies go out of business.
Right.
Oh my God.
Right.
I mean, in Florida, Texas, whatever, these people are like, well, how am I gonna know your company's legit? And most of these guys, if you don't have solar installs, you don't have the right credentials, I mean, the reality is they got a good point.
The customers got a great point. What happens when you go out of business?
Right.
Yeah, and the salesperson has to say, well, I guess a different contractor takes over the service contract. And they go, do I pay for labor? Well, yeah, you would pay for labor. Do I pay for parts? Probably. Like, you can't just say the warranty's going to be good. We've been around for it's going on 9 years, and our financials are in phenomenal order. You guys anybody can call Goodleaf and tell Dustin Manziel, will you tell us if Titan's doing well? He'll go, yep. We do really well with our money. We're not overspending. We negotiate really hard on pricing. The pricing that we negotiate on panels, inverter racking, all is for your benefit, not our benefit. We're trying to keep the red lines as low as possible. When we have an increase, we call up and go, man, I'm sorry, panels went up 5 cents. I've got to have my red line go up 5 cents. It sucks. I don't want to raise your price, demoralize all the reps, and then they go, oh my gosh, I can't sell anymore. 5 cents a watt, you can still sell, I wouldn't worry.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, our relationship with salespeople is really, really important to us. I think second to that, trying to have the same operational mentality in every market. If you ever came out to Arizona and saw the cart system that we started, it's pretty OCD. It's a little insane. People sometimes come through the office and I'll give them a tour.
The cart system.
Yeah.
Is that like in progress? Started?
No, we stage up the jobs per job on the equipment that's specific to the job, as opposed to installers running through a warehouse just grabbing stuff off the shelf. We say, oh, you need this many hooks, this many flashings, this much wire, this many pieces of conduit, you need this many couplings and connectors for the job. It's because we know install so well, because when we started Titan, I did the install
You also
work.
know inventory and how to manage both.
Right.
And roofers don't know how to do that.
And the solar companies don't know how to do that, and they definitely don't know that their people are taking too much off the shelf and wasting a lot, throwing a lot away. We're always talking to, trying to make the operations a little bit better, and you're always going to have waste in some respect. The guy comes back from work and he's tired, he takes a breaker, he doesn't think much of it, throws it in the trash. What's an $8 breaker now? Right. It was $4 before, today now it's an $8 breaker because of breaker shortage.
See, I love that I don't have to worry about any of that.
Right.
And also don't have to worry about financing the panels or the labor while I'm working in progress. I know some companies that build their own solar, and they're limited in their growth and scaling.
100%.
Now, they sell a certain amount of deals, but they have to get them installed on their own dollar.
How about they sell all these deals and they're going to install it themselves, and you say, okay, fine, you've got lines of credit with Wesco CED, but what if one job goes bad where you can't get the customer to sign off on PTO, and you're not paid on the job, but you already paid the full commission to the sales guy because he needs his money right away.
Yeah.
You paid
the labor.
Paid the labor, that's already done. That was done 2 weeks later. So now you're out all the money, you haven't paid a dime from Goodleap, and then you're like, okay, well, now what? Well, you tell me now what.
You've already been through that.
Oh, we go through, it's weekly we go through it, where we have funding reports every week where we say, okay, these customers are not signing off on their permission to operate for whatever reason, so we have to go back to them and beg them to sign off on their systems, even though the sales guy's the one who sold it. Now we're coming in afterwards going, hey, the sales guy's gone. We need you guys to sign off on the system. They're like, well, I was promising this thermostat, and I was promised this. And they have all the leverage in the world, and they get to negotiate with it because they're holding 60 grand hostage. So what do I have to do? I got to spend $500 on a couple thermostats just to get my 60 grand. Like, you want that headache? You're going to lose even more here.
You know, this is another thing that I see that's a big opportunity, and I have a lot of people watching my content that are solar installers and solar sales organizations first. If you're in the solar business and you don't have a roofing company, it's just as hypocritical for you as a roofer that doesn't have a solar division. And I have something we're working on for solar companies called roofing automation, where we can give you a dealer model so that we can install your roofs. We can help you sell the roofs. We can give you the training and systems and business in a box you need. And I think it's silly because if there is a solar company I'm competing against and they don't warranty the roof,
right?
I can come behind them, or if I'm in comparison to them, and it's just a night and day difference, because they do have concerns about the roof. Holes in the roof, isn't that a major concern?
Customers, when I sold, it was one of the biggest concerns, and I used to bring the roof attachments, the roof sealant, I used to bring lag bolts.
Oh, just to overcome it in their mind.
I would set the lag bolt on the table and I go, that's what we're going to use to hold on this component, this tile hook. We use 2 of these, and here's the roof sealant. Look, non-water-based roof sealant. I go, plus, we're going to be flashing it with roofing paper, plus we're going to use the tile over that. That's another section of flashing, so you get 3 courses of flashing, and the customer would go, oh, I feel a lot better now. And they go, if I had a competitor and they were showing a 30-panel system, I'd look at the quote before and I go, oh, 30-panel system, how many roof penetrations? They go, I don't know. Of course you don't know. You know why? You want to know why you don't know? The customer goes, no, I don't know why. Because the guy didn't tell you. It happens to be 60 penetrations, and there's 2 holes per, so it's actually 120 holes, but it's 60 points of entry for your roof. You want to know that, right? The customer's like, yeah, I do want to know that. Last guy wasn't going to tell you, apparently. Does he sound like an expert? No. So you want some construction knowledge, some roofing knowledge to go with your solar sale because you look way more credible.
Hell
and people
yeah,
will buy from you, and they're not likely to cancel during the pipeline process.
That's why I call my conference Blue Collar American Dream, because I feel like home service sales is different than just like a white collar close.
Right.
There is expertise of service. There is expertise of protecting the home. There is sort of like this, you have to be this guy that can be a contractor type, that can be a problem
contractor
solver.
type. I'm gonna bounce into air conditioning for a second. I worked for an air conditioning contractor, and they have a sales division, so they get leads for AC company or for an AC unit. Guy would go out there. Guy was wearing khaki pants tucked in, polo shirt with a name badge like this, and closes at a certain percentage. His buddy wears dirty jeans with one of those blue button-up shirts with the oval here that says Carl. Scuds his hand out a little bit. This is just a sales guy. He's trying to look like a technician. He comes in,
Sells
looking
more?
like a technician, sells more.
Oh, wow.
Because why? Because the customer, he goes, yeah, your condenser's bad, you need a whole new unit. They go, yeah.
Oh, yeah, this guy.
You're a technician, you're not going to lie to me. He's like, nope. He was closing more because he gave the perception that he was in construction or had the knowledge.
That's called a blue collar closer, baby.
Right. That's exactly right. And so I'm like, that's what I want to be. So when I was selling,
absolutely.
when I'm selling solar, I want to know.
You don't have the appearance with your Nikes to be in a blue collar
I didn't always
closing.
have these Nikes. I used to have some beat up Vans. So That's funny. Today's different.
It is.
Back in the day, I was a little more humble.
That's awesome, though, bro. I mean, this has been a great conversation. I think that if you're watching this, I see that you're a great leader, and you know, I've read from books like Traction, EOS, but we have Jocko Willink. You know Jocko Extreme Ownership?
Yeah. I got that book.
Yeah, this is a good book.
Yep.
Any leadership systems, or you know, because it seems like you have your team in command, that people understand their role. You know, Jocko talks a lot about cover and move and decentralized command and these concepts. So if you read the book, or if there's any other books, do you have any leadership systems or anything that's been influential?
I don't have any kind of specific leadership training or systems in place at the office. I do know that one of the ways that I've feel like I've been successful, and I never think I'm successful. I always think I'm going to go out of business tomorrow.
It's probably one of the reasons why you're so successful.
Right. So always thinking that life is going to end tomorrow. The business is going to go under. Always have that mentality. I don't ever think, oh, we're good. I don't cruise.
Always trying to grow.
Right. So knowing all the parts of the business, having done sales, like literally been in the home, having to sell to make money. If I leave that house without a deal, I don't have any money. Having to do that for a really long time was super important in the industry. After we started Titan, doing the actual installs. I wasn't on the install, I was doing the installs. I was physically on the roof for a year and a half. I staged all of our jobs, I ordered all the material, learning design, permit, utility, having to do all those things. Then when you started growing the company, you could hire for those things. You can hold those people accountable for what they're supposed to do in the time frame they're supposed to do it. It's really easy once you say, look, man, why did that job take you guys 8 hours? They go, well, it was a long drive. I go, no, it wasn't. It was 45 minutes from here to the office, and there's only a 20-panel system, and it's a single-story shingle roof. Why did it take 8 hours? They go, well, I go, you guys went to Home Depot after you got your coffee, and you guys, all four of you, took a big old shit, because that's what you guys do. Construction guys, they drink coffee in the morning, and then 45 minutes later, everyone's got to take a dump, right? So they all ran to Home Depot and cycled through the toilets and destroyed the bathroom. Then they got to the job site. So the hour and a half in is when they're starting. Like, I knew what you guys were doing. Plus, it was a nice day out. What'd you guys do? Sit on the side of the house and talk about how much beer you drank last night? They're like, yeah. And I go, well, guys, that's on my time.
Yeah.
You go, get the job done fast. Let me bonus you for getting it done fast. I'd rather have you guys back here at home, hanging out with your families. I'll still pay you for an 8-hour day, but do it in 6. Like, I want you guys off the roof. I want you guys off the road.
So there's a podcast from Ed Milet with the guy from Dirty Jobs, Mike Rowe.
Yep.
I want you to listen to it, because you embody this principle, and it's something that the blue collar American dream's about. Because it's about, if the trades industry or working with your hands, it's kind of looked down upon, and we say go get a higher education, don't go out there and work with your hands.
Right.
And what your story is this transformation from someone who is willing to do the dirty work and learn it at the base level, where, you know, reality is I learned the sales side of it. My dad was already selling. He was a car salesman in the roofing business.
Right.
I didn't learn as much of the installation, and I did it through being around it, but I believe that even that background made you able to scale the installation side that much better. And inside this podcast, it just talks about how all the people on Dirty Jobs, there was 50 of them or 60 of them that were blue collar millionaires. One of them, which was a guy cleaning septic tanks. He said, what were you doing before? The guy said, well, I was a counselor and I got tired of listening to people's shit. so you went to go clean their shit out of a septic tank. And now you're got a bunch of people cleaning shit for you. And
he's making lots of money.
He's making lots of money.
Probably didn't have a lot of education. Someone doesn't need to go to college and get a degree to learn how to build solar. Right. And then once they realize this is the best way to do it and the fastest way to do it, then scale that, and then use a little bit of salesmanship to negotiate pricing and to work out partnerships with sales companies. So you guys do your portion, I'll do my portion. Here's the benefits of you never coming into my lane. And sometimes those sales companies will still want to come into my lane, not my lane, the install lane. And we're like, you know, we don't have a sales division. What if I had a sales division here? How would you guys feel if all your reps could come to me and get a better number from you? They're like, well, we don't like that. Right. So you guys do you, we'll do us, and we'll work together. Just like you said about the roofing thing. Solar contractors that are not in roofing, they should be offering roofing, but they shouldn't just build out a roofing division with their own in-house employees, because that's too hard to scale. The cost, didn't you tell me the cost of material is way up right now?
Oh my God, material keeps going up 15%. Right. Labor's crazy, you're gonna make mistakes.
You're gonna get abused by your reps, or your install force, because you don't know how to police them, because you've never done roofing before. So the service you were talking about, same as what we offer, hey, we'll build it, use us, use it the same way. You're a solar sales company, or you're a solar installer, use us as a roofing network. We'll get all your roofs done in all these markets. All you do is tell us the house, tell us what they want, we'll get you the quote, and we'll build it.
Amen.
Well, that's great. We don't like to have super regional players like that. I mean, sometimes there's a sales rep that goes out there, sells his cousin, and his other cousin has a roofing company, so we have to use that guy. It would be better if we could make it more
A
national.
regional person that you can count on.
Right.
And so this is how you get a lot of business, baby. I saw that you're on a podcast, and we really didn't have too much interaction, but I messaged him. I'm like, hey, come do a podcast with me.
Yeah, man.
And this is like our first time really meeting each other and having this in-depth conversation. We have a lot of aligned values, and I'm so excited to help anybody on this YouTube watching this get into the solar business. If you're in solar, you want to get into the roofing business. Here's the thing, man, there's no better vehicle than partnering with a guy like me and David. We're going to help you get the leads, the salespeople, close the leads, build the roofs. More importantly, we have all the sales training, because if you're a roofer and you've got people that you've done roofs for, I've invested a ton of money in hiring the best solar sales trainers. I brought in a whole solar sales team, and we've got a complete training inside the university. So if you're watching this, you want to implement solar, Titan will install for you, we'll help you sell, I'll help you implement it and scale. The coolest thing about it is, man, anybody that comes off the street is sometimes a little bit more excited about making the world a better place and selling solar than roofing.
Right.
It's like actually a little bit more of attractive recruiting pitch.
Oh, yeah. I think so. People that want to get into a sales industry, if they said, okay, you can go sell a new roof and the customer needs the roof, like, well, they have to have that roof. Selling them solar, at least the customer's choosing between utility or renewable. Who doesn't want renewable? Right. So it is a sexier sale. It's more fun.
Hell yeah, man. And so, look, we got this National Roofing League right now, and what we're doing is we're putting a live leaderboard for total sales contest for roofing salespeople everywhere. And I've challenged the guys over here at the Win the Storm conference to a solar sales contest. Both of us are installing through Titan, and we'd like to have you on this team. We're going to be giving away lots of prizes. We're going to be making announcements on stage at the Blue Collar American Dream Conference, where we're going to have solar sales training, solar scaling training. You're going to be able to connect with people from Titan, and man, appreciate you being here. Thanks for being 100%. On the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Very nice to meet you. This is an awesome conversation. I can't wait to see in a year from now. We got to come back and recircle.
Right. We'll be wearing nicer watches.
Yeah,
maybe.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Hey, comment below what you think. Make sure that you subscribe to get notifications, and check this guy's podcast out. How can they find you on social media?
David Titan Williamson is my Instagram, and there's links everywhere on my Instagram. We just started our podcast. It's not as good as yours, but I'm learning. I'm trying to. That's why I'm here. I'm actually spying for myself right now.
You got the ingredients for the successful. You're on the right track, bro.
All right, good. That's all I want to do. That's all I hear. Trajectory.
And I'll tell you what. Like talking about the shoes and the personal stuff, and like. I'm telling you, man, you dropped a lot of nuggets about leadership, about systems, about holding people accountable, about being able to do it from the ground up, work with your hands, about the importance of salespeople, about giving away to scale. I mean, all these lessons inside of this episode. There's no doubt in my mind why you're the #1 in solar installer in the United States.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Honored to partner with you, brother.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
All right, guys.